Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Jessica Nicole. I'm a self-published author of YA fantasy romance novels, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys all about my top 5 books of 2023 so far. So I am just going to be talking to you guys a little bit about the plot of each book, why it is the ranking that it is, why it's 5 and not 1 or whatever, why it's 1 and not 5. I did this as a little short on my channel, but I kind of wanted to go into a little bit more detail. So without further delay, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. And so coming in at number 5, I have For the Throne by Hannah Whitton. This is book 2 in the Wilderwood duology. It is like a Little Red Riding Hood meets Beauty and the Beast with some Snow White vibes retelling, and I love like fairy tales like that. This is a very, very dark fairy tale. This book I liked, I just didn't like as much as the first book. This duology follows two sisters. They're actually princesses. Neve is the oldest of the twins. The first book followed her sister Radaris, and this is Never's book. Neve kind of got herself mixed up into some stuff, for lack of a better word, in book 1, and this book is about her righting her wrongs and kind of finding herself in a way and making her own destiny. There's a little light romance in here. It's very enemies to lovers, like enemies to lovers, and I loved watching it develop. I loved the descriptions in this book, the characterization, how all the characters just felt fleshed out. I love Solmir, and I hated him in book 1, so I love his whole arc. He had a great redemption arc, and so did Neve, actually, by the way. And I love the setting, I love the lore, loved everything about this book. The only reason it isn't higher is because I did like book 1 more, and there are books in this lineup that I enjoyed more, but I highly recommend the Wilderwood duology. I do not hear enough people talking about it, and if you love like dark fairy tales, the stories about like the two sisters kind of like being a mirror of each other, I love stories like that. If you like retellings and you love adventure stories, then this one is for you. Highly recommend it. The next book I read, which is gonna come in at number 4, is actually Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This is the first book in the Legendborn cycle. I believe there's going to be 3 books. I read the first 2, the third one is not out yet, and I am highly upset about that. But anyways, this book begins Bree's story. Bree is our main character. She is a merit scholar at this prestigious college. She's in the early college program, and she is attending school not long after her mother's death. Her mother died. The circumstances surrounding her mom's death are very mysterious, and so Bree is still trying to make peace with it. She's trying to kind of move on with her life and, you know, just kind of get on with things and be okay even though she is not okay. And her first night at school, she sees basically a demon attack, and so the Legendborn are like this league of demon fighters, demon hunters that are descendant from King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. Okay, cool. So a member of the Legendborn actually sees Bree witness this demon attack. He knows that she knows too much, so he tries to wipe her memory, but it does not work, and this is highly unusual. And so Bree starts to investigate more about the Legendborn, and she kind of decides she's going to infiltrate their secret society. So she is friends, a little bit more than friends, we'll get into it, with a member of the secret society, and he is there are basically there's scions and there's squires. Scions are like the heroes and squires are like their sidekicks. So the guy that she's friends with is like, he needs a squire. So she decides that she's going to become a squire, not because she really wants to be one, but she's kind of convinced that the Legendborn had something to do with her mom's death, or like her mom's death was related to one of these demon attacks. And so she's gonna get to the bottom of it. So she goes through this kind of like Hunger Games-esque competition, which was really fun to read about and to join this group. And so that's basically the bulk of the story, but this huge twist happens at the end that just, my jaw hit the floor, and it sets up book 2 in the series so perfectly. The first half of this book, the reason why this book is 4th, the first half of this book was very like hard for me to grasp. There was like a lot of information coming at me and I didn't know how to make sense of it all. But the last like third of this book, everything just makes so much more sense, and I adore this story. I highlighted so much. There were so many like instances where like I was enraptured by what I was reading and could not stop. I read this book so fast and I love this book. I love the love triangle in this book. To me, the choice is clear, but you know, we're gonna see how it pans out for Bree. But yeah, I love this book so much and I'm so happy that I finally read it. And yeah, this is the book number 4 of my top books that I read this year. Coming in at number 3 is actually, and I can't really remember, I should have watched the short before, but I'm just going to go on what I feel right now, is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I know it was these 5 books, but I'm not quite sure about the order, but I'm just going to go with what I feel. So Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is book 2 in the Caraval trilogy, and it is my favorite book out of the trilogy. I love how this book gives us more depth and insight into Tella's character and Dante's character, because they really interested me in book 1, but since that book is from Scarlett's point of view, Scarlett is Tella's sister, you see Tella through Scarlett's eyes, and it kind of makes her very unlikable, or at least it did for me. But I love Tella. I love her personality, her fire, her spark, her bravery. I just love her. But basically this picks up right where Caraval left off, literally right where it's like the morning after Caraval. And everything that happened in book 1 kind of carries over to book 2. We're going to a new city. We're going to Valinda, which is the capital city, and the group is going there because Empress Elentine is being it's her birthday celebration, and they're holding like this big Caraval game that's going to like take over the whole city. But Caraval is not a game this time around, or is it? You don't even really know until the end. The Fates are introduced in this book, introduced into the series, and I love the Fates. I just love the lore that Stephanie Garber was able to weave into the storyline. I love the characters. I love the setting. The way she writes is so beautiful and poetic, and I just cannot get enough. I know I'm going to be rereading the entire trilogy like forever and ever in the future, and I love this book, and it's number 3 only because the next 2 books I'm going to show you, I literally could not put them down. This one took me a while to read, but once I got into it, I was enraptured with it, but it didn't hold me as captivated as the next 2. That's the only reason it's number 3. Book number 2 is The Traitor Queen. This is by Danielle Jensen. This is book 2 in the Bridge Kingdom series. I call it the Bridge Kingdom duology because only the Bridge Kingdom and the Traitor Queen focus on these 2 amazing characters right here, Arin and Lara. Basically, this picks up right where the Bridge Kingdom left off. Lara is basically dealing with the repercussions of the choices that she made, and she's trying to basically put her life back together. and we get to go with her on that journey. There's so much like espionage and so much emotional turmoil. We get to meet Laura's sisters. We get to learn more about her home country. So basically, this is a tales all the time, the arranged marriage trope to kind of bring peace to two warring countries. But Laura's father, the king of the country she comes from, he doesn't really want peace. He wants to kill Arin, which is the king of the warring country, the country that they're at war with. So he basically has trained his daughters to be assassins, and Laura is set to marry Arin, and she's supposed to kill him. But they end up falling in love, and so she doesn't know if she can do that. And that's basically the plot of the first book. This is basically the aftermath of the first book, and it hits the ground running and does not let up. Like, I love this so much more than the first book. The first book was good too. I gave it 3 stars, but this one was an easy 5 stars for me, and I was highly entertained, and I loved this book. Like, it literally had me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and yeah, cannot recommend that one enough. The only reason that one is number 2 and not number 1 is because I read Bloodmarked and my life was forever changed. I love this book so much. This is book 2 of the Legendborn cycle, and I highlighted, there's literally like whole pages of this book that I highlighted because I loved what I was reading so much, and all of it felt so vital and important to me. This one basically picks up right where the last one left off. This book is huge, so I'm trying to find a good example, but it's taking me forever, but I'm just going to talk while I look. This book basically picks up right where the first one left off. It's like a couple months later. We're dealing with the aftermath of what happened in the catacombs. I'm just calling it the catacombs. It's not called the catacombs. I forgot what they called it, but we're picking up with the aftermath of that and the huge like revelation that Bree has about her. Here it is. This is a great example of me highlighting basically the whole page. But Bree dealing with the aftermath of what she has found out and what happened as a result of that. She is trying to master these new powers that she has from like 2 sides of her ancestry, and she is having a very hard time with it. I loved that we got to watch her struggle in this because it's like a chosen one trope but with a twist, because everything doesn't come super easily to her, and I loved that. I thought it made the story so much more interesting. I love that all the demons she faces aren't literal demons. They're just like things that we face every day in society. And I love that Tracy Deonn doesn't shy away from that. I loved the like road trip kind of trope. The found family situation is very prevalent here. And if your best friend, I've said it before and I'll say it again, if your best friend isn't Alice Chin, is she really your best friend? The answer is no, okay? And I love Bree and Sel in this book. This is them on the cover. I love them in this book. Like, it's just, the banter is a top tier. Just the enemies to lovers. Just, I love it. And if they don't end up together, I'm going to be so sad. I'm going to be wrecked and destroyed. And yeah, I loved this book. Loved everything about it. Beautiful story, beautiful storytelling, and yeah, 10 out of 10 stars. I love it so much. And those are my top 5 reads of 2023 so far. This is from January to March, because I haven't finished my April reading yet. So those are my top 5 books, and let me know if you have read any of these books, what you thought of them. Let me know what your top 5 books of 2023 so far have been, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.